It's not just about helping you get quota. I want you to look back 5 years from now, 10 years from now, and some of the lessons that you learned here today, you can apply for the rest of your life. Welcome, and thank you so much for jumping into this 3-part masterclass. I'm so excited to have you in. What I want to share with you is some amazing masterclasses that really have helped change my life, and I'm hoping they can do the same for you. Because at the end of the day, my whole purpose of being here is to help you live a better life. It's not just about helping you get quota. I want you to look back 5 years from now, 10 years from now, and some of the lessons that you learned here today, you can apply for the rest of your life. So today, let's dig in. It's a 3-part series, but today is going to be all around helping you get clarity. Clarity on where you're really at today. Think about it. Anytime you go on a vacation or a trip, or you're going to the mall, you have a destination in mind, right? But what you don't put a lot of thought into is, well, where am I coming from? Because you're usually leaving from your house. That's your current state. Then you have the destination, the GPS. Where a lot of people make the mistake in their lives and their career that lead to a lack of fulfillment and lack of success is they only focus on the destination, but their GPS is way off. So because they never took the time to get clear on their starting point. And that's what we're going to get clear on today in the different areas of your life. So I want you to take notes. This is an interactive exercise. That's how you're going to make the most of it, because I'm going to walk you through this. And then I'm going to ask you to do your own analysis and assessments of yourself so that it's impactful as possible. So grab a piece of paper out so that you can follow along and you can get the most amount of value. So let's dig in. So there's 6 areas of your life that's important for you to work towards mastery. I say work towards mastery because you never really master, right? Perfection is unattainable, as you've heard many times, I'm sure. So the whole goal is to help you continue to make progress in these different areas. And the reason why I'm not just thinking about the career is just one aspect of your life. If you're just trying to hit quota, but the other areas of your life are a disaster, then your life sucks. I know a lot of people with a lot of money that aren't happy. So this is what we're going to work towards. So I'm going to go in order of importance, and I'll explain why. The first is your body. So think about your body as your physical body. Now, what I don't want you thinking is, oh, well, I don't have a 6-pack, so my body's in terrible shape, or my body's a 1 out of 10. That's not how I want you thinking about this. What is the current state of your body in terms of your energy? Do you feel like you have a lot of energy every day? Or do you feel like you're struggling to get through the day? How's your health and vitality? Are there things that you're trying to get better at or you're not good at from a health perspective, or maybe they are in a really good state? Appearance of your body is actually one part of this because there's confidence that's tied to it. Look, let's be real. Sometimes it feels good to take your shirt off and say, man, I look good in the mirror, right? Now, that's only one. That's not everything, right? That's not going to lead to happiness, just vanity. But if that's something that you take as a contributing factor towards your self-confidence, then think about it, right? That's your body. Number 2 is your relationships. So why is relationships, number 2? Why is it so important? When was the last time you achieved a big goal, or you had an amazing day, or you had this amazing experience? What's the first thing that you did when you were done? You found someone to share it with. You texted them, you called them, whatever it was, your spouse, and you get home, you'll never guess what happened today. Because as human beings, we are wired to have deep, meaningful, loving connections. We are tribal by nature. It is hardwired into our biochemistry to want to be a part of something bigger than ourselves. That's why we have communities. And so that's why relationships are so important. Your spouse, your children, your family, your friends, your colleagues, all of these go into that to help you live a really rich, fulfilled life. Number 3 is your time. How are you spending your time every day? Do you feel like you're waking up and you're already reactive and behind, or are you extremely intentional about it? Number 4, your career. Now, you might be thinking, why is career so low on the list? I said this earlier. You could there'll be an executive or in the position that you want as a salesperson or whatever it may be. But if you're not mastering your body, your relationships, and you're running around, you're just going to burn out and your life's not happy. So think about your career. Where are you at in your career? We're going to help you assess what your current state is. Number 5, money. Now, this one, I'm sure, is throwing a bunch of you for a loop because you're like, wait a sec. I'm here because I want to make more money. That is what I'm here. I'm trying to close more deals so I can provide for my family. But like I said earlier, money doesn't buy happiness. Now, money solves money problems. Let's be real. It creates a lot of freedom so you can do what you want, when you want, where you want, with who you want. But it's not everything. But it is something that you have to take an honest assessment at and look at. And then last but not least is experiences. So when you think about experiences and you think about what life is really all about, when you look back at your life, it's a collection of memories, the things that you do every day, the places that you see, the conversations that you have, the vacations that you have, right? All of these things go into your life experiences so that you're not, pounding away at the pavement in your career, but you're not making any memories along the way. Now, for some of you, you're making memories while you're building your career, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? That's why there's no shame in that. If you love that, that helps feel that, great. But these are different things that we're going to walk through. Now that we got the 6 categories outlined in terms of order of importance, here's the exercise that I'm going to ask you to do. I'm going to explain it, then you can pause the video really quick, put your answers down, and then resume. So what I'm going to ask you to do is for every single one of these categories, you're going to rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. And I'm going to ask you a series of questions to help you assess where they are. So, body, what do you rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10? 1 being it's an absolute disaster. You're unhealthy. You're not confident. You don't feel good at all about where you're at with your physical health and where your body's currently at. 10, you can't even imagine it being better, right? Do you feel like you have as much energy as you can every day or not? How do you feel about that? Your confidence and your appearance, how you feel about your health and where you're at. Are you struggling with inflammation? Are you struggling with sickness and disease? Right? All of those things go into it. So rate it on a scale of 1 to 10. Next is your relationships. How is your relationships? Do you have deep, loving, meaningful relationships for all those people that are around you? Do you have a great relationship with your wife, but maybe you like to be a little bit closer with your children, right? Do you have a great relationship with your mom, but you're trying to get a little closer with your dad or your cousin or your nephews and nieces, right? These are all things that go into the relationships of your life. So how do you feel about that? Rated on a scale of 1 to 10 to help you understand where you're currently at. Time. Hey, do you feel like there's just not enough hours of the day every day? Or do you feel like, you own the day, or does the day own you? Right? Those are 2 very different life experiences. So think about that. Do you have a plan going into every day? Or do you feel like you're winging it every single day? Do you wake up and you immediately feel overwhelmed? Or do you feel like you have a good grasp on all aspects of your day? And obviously different people are in different situations. But do you feel like you're juggling all the different things in your life in an effective way? Or do you just feel like you're constantly running around spinning plates? All right, write it down, scale 1 to 10. Career. How do you feel about where you're in your career? Are you at, 10 years ago when you dreamed about where you're at today, you probably had some type of vision of where you're going to be. Are you at that level? Are you farther than the level? Are you not as far as where you'd like to be for now? It's okay. You're not sharing these answers, so you can be honest with yourself, right? Where are you at? Now, what I also want you to think about is we're not just thinking about title. I want you to think about fulfillment, because 10 years ago, you might have dreamed of being in the position that you are now. But if you're not happy, then there's no way this is a 10 out of 10 because you're not working towards your purpose. Or maybe you haven't figured out how to think about your career as a vehicle towards your purpose, which I'd be happy to break down for you in a different lesson. So think about that. Rate that on a scale of 1 to 10. Next is your finances. What's your financial situation like? Are you in a bunch of debt with no plan? Or do you have a bunch of debt, but you have a plan and you're consistently chipping away at it, right? Are you able to go out to a nice dinner with your family and not have to worry about the prices on the menu? Are you able to put away some money every month, towards investing towards your future? I'm no financial advisor, so take this, as it is, but think about your financial situation. Be honest with yourself, right? 1 out of 10, it's a mess. 10 out of 10, you're financially free. Do you even know your financial freedom number, which is a different exercise all in itself, right? And if so, do you have a plan towards get there, and are you working towards it? That's your money. And last but not least is your experiences. Are you having the type of experiences that you want in life? Are you making the memories that you want to have? How does that look? And are you being intentional about it? Are you being reactive? Are you making it a priority to have these amazing memories with your loved ones? And amazing memories doesn't require you to travel to a different continent or a different country. It could just be making sure you grab coffee with your best friend and catch up in a while, right? Memories can be anything. What I love to call beautiful moments. So now that you've rated these different items on scale 1 to 10, the next exercise that I'm going to ask you to do is for each of these things, each of these areas, I want you to take some time. This exercise could take you 5 minutes. It could take you an hour. But this is important to help you not only get clear on your current state, but to help you start to build an action plan towards the future. So the next question you're going to answer for every one of these things is why? Why did you write a 6 out of 10? Why not a 5? Why not a 7? Why did you write a 9 out of 9 for your finances? Each of these categories, you wrote down a specific number for a specific reason in your head. So write down a couple sentences to answer it. I'll give you an example. Let's say the relationships, you wrote a 6 out of 10 because you have an incredible relationship with your spouse and your children, but you're having a really hard time connecting and staying close with your parents because maybe you guys have different political views. Let's be honest. That's the world that we're in today, right? Is that a reason why you're at a 6 out of 10 versus a 10 out of 10? So write down what the why is for each of these categories. Maybe for your finances and your money, hey, you know what your freedom number is, but you don't have a plan to get there, right? So these are all factors that go into why you put that number in. So write that down. Could be one sentence, could be one word, it could be 10 pages. So your answer is your answer. So go through that exercise for each of these, pause the video, take as much time as you need, then we're going to do the final exercise. So the final exercise that you're going to do, and this is what I'm going to leave you with, is after you've done the why, which hopefully you've all done by now, you have a decent sense of your current state. You should have a lot of clarity into where you're currently at. And I heard this quote, and I love it. It's clarity is power. If you're clear on where you're at, it empowers you to take action and to make progress happen. So now that you're clear on really where you're at, and you're not sharing these answers, so hopefully you're being honest with yourself, because if you're not honest with yourself, this exercise isn't going to be powerful for you. And you're not honest with the why, the next thing you're going to do is understand really what the gap is. And what I mean by that is, what is a 10 out of 10 for you for each of these areas? So go down the same list and write down what does a 10 out of 10 mean for your finances? What does a 10 out of 10 mean for your career? What does a 10 out of 10 mean for your time management or your health and vitality, your body? What does a 10 out of 10 mean? Because what that's going to do is, after you understand what your current state is and where you're trying to go, then it helps you understand what your gap is. So what is the gap between a 6 to a 10? But the first thing you have to do is get clear on what a 6 is, which you've already done by now. And what you're about to do is understand what a 10 is. And then from there, you get clear on what the gap is, then you take action. So I hope this was helpful. My name is Justin J. Johnson. I'm here to serve people. I hope you're looking forward to the next lesson, which is breaking down how to help you build a rock solid, airtight plan to get to quota in any economic environment, just like I did. But I have an important favor to ask of you before you click on this video. I'd love to get your feedback on how valuable this was. So just like you were rating your 6 areas, give me a rating. You're not going to hurt my feelings. Throw it in the comments below. Rate me on a scale of 1 to 10. And what I mean by that is a 1 being this is the biggest waste of your time ever, and I should never record another video because I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Or a 10 out of 10 being, oh my God, this was the most valuable thing I've been through. I can't believe this was free and I did it. I'd love to get your honest feedback. Throw it in the comments. I'd love to hear from you because it really helps me understand how valuable this is for you. Thanks again for your time, and I'll see you in the next lesson.